Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Monday morning meditation. Sorry for my delay this morning. We are continuing our process for releasing the year using Jane Elizabeth Hart's 7 Steps for Releasing the Year. We started last week with our disappointments and difficulties, and I hope you took some time to write out your disappointments and difficulties this year and to continue that process as things continue to come up for you as we go through December. I know that that's an ongoing process for me as well. This week, we are looking at our hopes and dreams from the year and releasing our hopes and dreams, going back to January 1st of this year and looking at what is ours, what were our New Year's resolutions, what were our commitments to ourselves for the new year. What did we want? Maybe it wasn't a commitment to ourselves exactly, but what did we think was going to happen during the year that maybe did or maybe didn't? And our hopes and dreams step is helpful in looking at our expectations for the year and looking at our expectations for ourselves and seeing, did I live up to my own expectations? If I did, that will go on our gratitude step in a couple of weeks. And if I didn't, then that goes on my disappointments and difficulties step, which I can flip back from what I started last week and put that down. Like, okay, I wanted to see myself expanded in some way, and I didn't do that. So I'm going to put that on my disappointments and difficulties list. And another part of the value of looking at our hopes and dreams is we get to look at, well, why did I not fulfill that hope and dream? I was listening to Jane's video on Center for Enlightenment from yesterday because we are piggybacking on that process, that class series that's happening on Sundays. And as I was listening to that video again this morning, she's talking about the importance of looking at our hopes and dreams from the year so that we can say, why did that hope and dream not come true? What was in my control about that? What was in my effort that helped it be fulfilled or didn't help it be fulfilled? Was my desire strong enough to put me into action? And only we can do that for ourselves. Only we can evaluate for ourselves what hope and dream, what goal we want to accomplish, and then put the mojo and the action behind it to make it happen, or at least to move us forward with it. Maybe it doesn't, maybe we have a big goal of not making it happen. We have a big goal that we want to have happen. I'm a little discombobulated today. That we want to have happen, but we're not putting the effort into it. Then that gives us the next step, which is, well, why? Why didn't I put the effort into that goal to make it happen? Is it because I don't really want it as much as I thought I did? Sometimes we get whims, right? And the whim feels and sounds really good in the moment. And we think, oh boy, this is going to be the best thing ever. And we commit to it. We put that hope and dream into our lives for it. And then as we go, it starts to feel less exciting and more plodding and more, oh my gosh, now I have to do this and now I have to do that. And that whim doesn't seem so exciting anymore. And those are the times when we're in the middle of those that we go, okay, this feels harder than I wanted it to be, but I still want this goal. I want to accomplish this goal. So then we have to push through our resistance, to push through our laziness, if you will, to push through our, oh my gosh, not wanting to do hard things sometimes and being able to say, okay, I'm saying this once for you guys and once for myself, probably twice for myself. What is it that I need to put into action that I can do? For example, this last year, a little bit in 2024 through this year, I had this goal of expanding my practice and having therapists who are in training, working toward their license and coaching them and being a supervisor to them and supporting them and growing my business a little bit so that as people were coming in, I have more therapists to support these people under my guidance and to teach them what I know about being a therapist to the best of my ability. And as I was working with that process, there were things that were challenging over and over and over again. Some of the things were out of my control, like getting paneled with insurance companies took 10 times longer than I had anticipated. And it turned out not to be financially viable. It just wasn't going to work. I loved doing it. I loved working with the therapists who I had as employees for a while and, all of that. But when push came to shove, it wasn't working. So as I have put that on my list for my hopes and dreams from this year to have seen that through and listening to Jane's video on hopes and dreams and looking at our goals, did I have the commitment to that goal to hang with it, to put it into action? There were probably other things I would have had to do that are not my thing, that I had resistance around, the advertising and marketing. And that is not me. I am not a marketer. I can be, but it's not my love. And that I think made a difference to the sustainability of my expanding my practice. I could have stuck with it. I can still go back to it if I want to, but evaluating that for the new year, it's not strong enough in me. Or I would really have to look at that, really have to get some guidance internally, externally about that to the people who advise me and who I work with to support my soul, and to see if that is really worth my time and pushing through whatever resistance I have to push through to make that happen, if that is mine to do. I don't know. To be determined. um, so, so I'll put that on my list and have put that on my list to evaluate for the new year. But anyway, I'm letting go of my experience of that in the last 18 months to to release it, to release my energy around it, to look at, it turns into a disappointment and difficulty in some way. It turns into looking at, you know, my gratitude. There's a lot of gratitude from that process too. I learned so much about businesses. I learned about being a manager. I learned about being a supervisor. I learned about marketing, whether I wanted to or not, and I learned about all sorts of things. So I'm grateful for all that information, for all that knowledge, and I'm disappointed that it didn't happen as smoothly as I expected it to. It didn't flow like I thought it would, like I wanted it to. And so my hope and dream has a couple of other steps that are part of it also. So I'm using this as an example of looking at your hopes and dreams and seeing, like, here's what I accomplished this year, and I'm so grateful. We've got the gratitude step coming up. Here's what I wanted to accomplish and I didn't, for whatever reason, whether it was my own effort or life situation, life circumstances. We put that in our disappointments and difficulties and write about our feelings. Here's what I'm disappointed about. Go back to that step with your unfulfilled hope and dream. Go back to that step and process your feelings around it so you can really let that go and put it behind you and move forward into the new year saying, okay, I'm open. I'm open. Another aspect to looking at our hopes and dreams tonight, our hopes and dreams this week, are to look at what goals, what hopes and dreams am I taking into the new year? What is really important to me? Once I evaluate my hopes and dreams from this year and to look at what were positive about those hopes and dreams and what was negative, looking at those both sides of our hopes and dreams, we have new eyes to create our hopes and dreams for the new year. And that's important because now we know we've learned about ourselves this year. We know what motivates us. We know that what doesn't motivate us. And when we're not motivated, we can see more clearly where we want to push ourselves more for the new year or not, or say, wow, that was not worth whatever effort I put into it. It's not my thing, and moving forward that way. So valuable at many levels, looking at our hopes and dreams. It's not just going, oh, this didn't happen this year. Oh, well, it's really looking at what made us tick this year. What made us tick? What made us excited at the beginning of the year to create those hopes and dreams? And what got in the way of making those happen? Because all of that is internal for what is in our control, right? What is in our management. Life happens. And sometimes our hopes and dreams don't happen because life happens. And there are many, many things that we don't have any management around, but we do have management of ourselves. So that is what this step is about. So anyway, so for our meditation time today, we're just going to kind of like we did last week, we're going to stir the pot a little bit of your hopes and dreams from this year and looking at those and looking at what was positive about your hope and dream from this year, your hopes and dreams, and what remains unfulfilled as we are finishing off this year. And those are important to bring up and look at. So we're using our Monday morning meditation time to support those coming to the surface. And even though it feels like, we're stirring things up and instead of our usual Monday morning meditation where we are just kind of hanging out in goodness. This is part of being able to move into our new year and our new year of Monday morning meditations clearer and moving forward with what we can do to support ourselves in our own meditation time, our own internal clarity, our own emotional management. It is all about being present with ourselves all the time. But part of that is pulling up all the stuff that maybe we used to at the end of the year, just sweep it under the rug and move forward. We're not going to sweep it under the rug. We are bringing it out to be released. And that is such a blessing, such a blessing. So we're going to do our work. We're going to do our work during the week of writing and do our work right now of looking at our hopes and dreams. So I invite you to get comfortable in your chair and take a couple of deep breaths. There's a lot of mind activity in this process, and it's okay for this that we're working on this month. It's okay. It's okay that we're stirring these up to be evaluated, looked at, released. Mm. So I invite you to picture a bowl or a basket with a label 2025 on it. And swimming around in that bowl are the disappointments and difficulties you've been working on and bringing up. Let me just let them swim around, but we're holding it in the bowl, so it's not inside of us. It's in our hands, our arms. And now we think about those hopes and dreams from this year. We go back to January of this year and put ourselves in those shoes we were in at the time. What did we expect would happen this year? What were our expectations from this year? What did we want to accomplish? What did we want to let go of or move through? Just remember some of those goals right now. And think about moving through the year and how those hopes and dreams may have shifted or changed. New hopes and dreams added. And as these hopes and dreams come into your mind, into your awareness, into your bowl, your basket of the year, look and see which of those hopes and dreams were fulfilled. And feel the gratitude for the fulfillment of those hopes and dreams. Oftentimes, when things go our way, when we are able to accomplish something, we feel so good about it in the moment, and then we forget because our minds focus on what's not happening. So it's so valuable to spend time in gratitude for what has been accomplished. Just feel the joy of that, feel the gratitude. And then we bring to mind those hopes and dreams that were not fulfilled. Recognizing those. And probably what comes up around those unfulfilled hopes and dreams are emotion and the context of what happened that kept those hopes and dreams from being fulfilled. Maybe there's disappointment, frustration. And if you feel that frustration towards yourself, just put it all in the bowl. We're letting all of that go. And it's good to look at what we could do differently next time. But we're also adding that frustration to our forgiveness step that's coming up as well. Every opportunity we've had this year, every experience, every person, every moment of our year has been growing us, growing and growing and growing us, teaching us about ourselves. It's so much more valuable as we look at these hopes and dreams to look at what have we learned from the ones that were fulfilled or unfulfilled. What have we learned? How have they grown us? How are we different today because we made effort towards these hopes and dreams? Or we didn't make effort towards these hopes and dreams. It's all good information, good learning opportunities. So as we hold this bowl of our now disappointments and difficulties and our hopes and dreams, we are going to acknowledge, and we're acknowledging right now that the most important part of these memories is how they've grown us. Good or bad, positive or negative, accomplished or left behind. The only thing that's important is what we learned, who we are now, how we see ourselves now. And what new understanding of ourselves we will be taking into the new year. new ways of supporting ourselves more kindly, more lovingly, more compassionately, more firmly, more clearly. That is all that matters. So if you have time this morning, right now, to get out your 7-step process that you're working on and move to the step of hopes and dreams and asking, what were my hopes and dreams for this year? Writing down what's come up for you so far and just keep moving with it this week. And how did you hope the year would end? Where did you want to be in your life today, right now? And what remains unfulfilled? And as you look at these hopes and dreams, what are you learning? What are you learning about yourself? What are you learning about what's important to you? What's really, truly important to you? And what could you do about it in the new year if you're taking a particular hope and dream into the new year? Because you do want it accomplished, you do want it fulfilled. What steps will you take to make it happen? How do you need to support yourself with love and strength to make that happen? And even if you need to go about your day this morning, today, I invite you to just keep having a little part of yourself pondering all of those hopes and dreams in the background and write them down as they come up. And hopefully it's not just one sitting time of writing this week, but many as you are churning all of this out, putting them into your bowl of 2025 and learning what you need to learn about yourself from these experiences. That's what I'm doing. I'm right here with you doing the same thing. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that you're joining me for this process. I'm grateful to be doing this with you. I'm grateful for the support of Jane Hart and her process and the Center for Enlightenment and those classes, if you get to tap into those. And I'm grateful for you. So thank you. And enjoy looking at those hopes and dreams. And most of all, enjoy learning about yourself this week. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.